Hi class, my name is George Velarde, and today I'm going to be talking about appraisal systems as well as some of the theories behind it and kind of how it got its start. So that being said, let's jump right into it. So people have always been curious with how they are doing, whether it's a student who's waiting on the results of their grade. This same ideology can be translated to businesses and even other public sector organizations. So rooted in post-World War II, after the 1950s, a call for appraisal systems was needed because there was a boom in government. So from there was an increase in appraisal systems and ultimately evaluations. So the appraisal systems themselves. Appraisal systems require, according to the textbook, they're a year-long endeavor, and there are 4 key components that make up these appraisal systems. Number 1, we have initial goal setting. Now, it's important to have a game plan for anything. You can't jump into something being unprepared. And so let's take an example. Say a student is unprepared for their exam. The results are probably going to be unfavorable, and again, that same, although minimalistic approach can be applied to a public sector organization. They have to have a game plan going into something, and being underprepared is almost an understatement. Number 2, we have monitoring and data. It is important to keep track or record the number of people you are serving. Data equals assessment. So for example, over at the City of Fontana in the planning department, we have a sign-in sheet, and from there we're able to track how many people we've helped on a daily basis, and from there it's a good indication and gives us an aggregate of how many people we've helped throughout the week, month, and even on a yearly basis. Number 3, we have continuous feedback. Positive feedback should be rewarded. On the other hand, when you have other types of feedback, say for instance a manager didn't get the favorable results that they wanted to out of their workers, we're able to see, okay, what went wrong and how can we fix it based off of this continuous assessment. From there, this is actual appraisals being shaped. And last but not least, we have number 4, annual assessment. So this is ultimately where the individual stands based off of all these factors combined. So with that being said, there are 3 types of appraisal systems that the text talks about that kind of touches upon this. Number 1, we have trait-based appraisals. So this is one tool for measuring performance management using traits. So traits that elicit how the worker does their job. So we can have communication, collaboration, and even critical thinking are all ways of how we can assess these trait-based appraisal systems. Number 2, we have behavior-based systems, and this gives employers and managers an actual feel for whatever the job at hand actually is. So for example, the text talks about the occupation of a teacher, and there are 3 appraisal categories that make up what teaching actually is. So the book talks about teaching being one, research, and service is the last one. So those are all 3 components that make up what teaching is. And so if we take the same information and relay it to, let's pick an occupation, let's say a fireman for example, we can take those same appraisal categories and swap them. So the examples and duties of a fireman can be patrolling and even training. And so we're able to see based off those categories behavior-based systems, what the job actually is. And last but not least, we have number 3, which is results-based systems. Here, expectations versus outcomes is the main focal point. We're linking trends from the goals and that quote-unquote game plan that we had discussed in the beginning, and how it relates and how it gives us those favorable results in the very end. So Interestingly enough, on a personal note, I was able to find the appraisal systems for full-time employees over at the City of Fontana, and what I found is that their appraisal system uses a trait-based system. So all the information relayed and how they measure the evaluations are by specific traits. So things like quality of work, initiative, public relations, job knowledge. They're all trait-based systems. And so, last but not least, in comparing and contrasting the different types of appraisal systems from trait-based, behavior, and results, I think that results-based systems is proven to be the most effective one, because I think managers in the long run, if workers are able to meet these expectations that they identified in the beginning, in some cases it encompasses behavior and trait-based systems. Thank you.